G'day and welcome back for more Survival Impossible. I have a giant wall to build and I need a whole lot of iron to do it because I think it's going to take probably, I don't know, I reckon there's maybe upwards of 5,000-6,000 steel plates in building all the armor for these walls, and then I've got the floor as well. So I'm going to need a lot of iron, and currently I have 11,100. And I know that's all I've got because I stacked it up before. Before I started recording. There we go. 11,100 iron. What I'd like to figure out to begin with is how much iron I get from a full load of stone in this trailer for the Goofy 2. It'd be a nice thing to know so that I can decide whether it's worthwhile going to iron deposits or whether it's worthwhile doing quick trips back and forth to get stone. So the first thing I need to do is change which end this is attached to. And that is detach. Oh dear. Third person camera! Come on, stop doing your giant zoom from the moon thing, and there we go. That's better. Wheels on. One thing that's always kind of bugged me about the route that I decided on for going down to the stone mine is that it is really steep in parts, and it makes it very difficult to get back with a full load. So I've either got to choose to struggle on my trip back or just not quite fill this up as much. So if I do decide that stone mining is worthwhile doing even when I know where some iron is, then I might choose a new spot for mining. Although I'm not sure that there's anywhere that's any better than what I chose, to be honest. All of the paths towards the mountain are pretty steep. Do I have any food on me? I do not. Alright. We're on the clock for food, because I have 11 food, because I didn't feed myself before I left. Good to know. Oh, this is much better with the 5 drills across the front. And not scraping my wheels. Because I can nicely just dig a little channel like I've done. Starting a little further back with a bit of soft suspension and then strengthening the suspension as I go. And get a relatively flat surface. How are we going? Drills. Full. I'm full. That was quick. That was very quick. Nice. Oh, I still have some cobalt. Rats. Not too much. About 2,000 cobalt. That's not too bad. Normally the way I go up out of here, because I'm obsessed with the routes of travel now, is off to the right there. I'm going to see if there's a nicer way if I kind of swing a bit further left, because... oh dear. What have I done? Because I would like to have an easier way to travel. One that doesn't require me going back and forth and kind of gradually edging my way up the hill. Oh dear. Nope. 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 Nope, nope, nope. This is what ends up happening every time. Ugh. Maybe I'll have to go goose style and add some atmospheric thrusters to this at some point. So I've got a bit of extra boost when I'm fully loaded up. And if you're wondering, yes, I do have all of the wheels on full power, and I have got the subgrid wheel control script on. Because I checked to make sure, because I was worried that I didn't have either of those things. Or both of those things active. There we go, that's a bit better. Seriously, this is what I do every time. This back and forth. I just cut it out because it's not exciting viewing most of the time. But I just wanted to, if I do decide doing something relatively expensive to overcome it, I really want people to understand why it became necessary to do so. This is a lot more heavily loaded than usual because I've got the drills full as well. And I think this may be a sign that perhaps filling the drills is not in my best interest, because I probably could have made it back, started the refining, and then maybe even gone back down to the mine to get some more by now. So having a full load when it takes this much longer to get there is probably not smart. Okay, locked. And that's the last of the stone gone, so how much have I got? 12.8 thousand. That gave me 1,700 iron. Wow. That is definitely not worth it. I am going to be... uh-oh. I was staring at that for a little bit too long. I am definitely going to be hunting down iron boulders and drilling down iron boulders for all of my iron resources. I will do my best to avoid ever needing to use... Ugh. That. That's just bad. Nope, nope, nope. Don't want to have to use stone. And that was kind of the point. I drastically reduced the yield from stone. And I did that because I found that stone was just a bit too easy. It just made so much mining pointless. Alright, I'm going to go to these two. I'm going to start knocking these iron GPS markers off my GPS list. Because now that I'm equipped, I should be able to mine through the entire boulder and completely get rid of it. Because then I'll know how many I've got left and how much I need to go out and hunt for some more. And what I should do as well, since stone is pointless, is turn on my ejector system and get rid of all my stone so I don't have to carry any unnecessary. What I'm also going to do is, I think I'll only partially fill my drills for the return trip. Filling them up entirely, that last trip was just horrible. Okay. There's not a lot of this one left. Time to use my new drilling technique. I appear to be somewhat wedged. You can get out. There we go. Come on, a bit further. Come on, you rotten thing, go a bit further. So close. Okay, that rear wheel is just free spinning. Trailer wheels. Drop their strength down to 20. I think I might even be stuck on the stones that I've ejected. I think they may be part of my issue. Yeah, I'm getting jammed as soon as I get to them. Having the ejector out the back there is not helpful. Let's just dig myself out of this hole. So it turns out I'm not as good at digging with my new drill setup as I thought I was. Also, it would appear I have now cleared this place of iron as I cannot detect any around here and I can only see stone markings on the ground. Cool. How much did I get from the remainder of that? 19... like 45 to 50,000? That's not too bad. Might do. Let's ditch a few of these. Help lighten myself so that getting out of this hole is a bit easier as well. So I don't need to be carrying all this stone. Come on. How can you be wedged? Oh, the stupid steering. Some weird reason, every now and then when I get out of the truck, the inversion on the front wheel steering goes all a bit weird. FE105 can be deleted. Now, how much space have I got in my inventory? Still got quite a lot. I am going to head to that one over there. And since I've never collected any silicon, if I go past one that is, I might just collect a bit of this. Because I'm thinking there's going to be some glass in this wall, so I probably need to get a little bit of proper silicon. Yeah, that'll be enough silicon. I don't need too much. Just thought I'd collect a little bit while I was out. Giant boulders away! Oh dear. Some of those ended up in potentially very dangerous places. Oh, I'm just going to drop this back. I'm going to head back with what I got, and then I'm going to head out to that other mine again. Not back. Not this way. Back home. I think it's just more sensible. Always better to travel lighter. Especially, oh yeah, especially if a drone or something comes after me, I need to make sure that I've got the ability to be mobile. Okay, while that's connected, I'm going to build a small cargo on the base because I really do need somewhere to dump the stuff that I bring here. Which brings me to something I need to decide on. I need to decide where the large refineries are going to go here. I think my original thought was to have them next to the basic refineries there. But there's a problem with that. This thing, I'm pretty sure, is as tall as the space I've actually got here. So if I have upgrade modules all along the back of this, and then the wall on this row, I'm not going to have any means to get past this thing, which is not really ideal. So what I'm now thinking I will do is place the refineries this way. Probably like that, and that. So I'll have 2 refineries. Then I've got room on either side so I can get scaffolds up. I've got space down the back so I can walk around the back of it, get to the upgrade modules. I can build a scaffold at an elevated height so I can get to the other ones. And then I can conveyor from this refinery down to here and should be able to build some sort of catwalk over the top so that I have access way through there. Because I'm pretty sure, yeah, the basic refineries don't have a conveyor connection on the bottom. So that means I won't be able to pipe underneath. I'll have to go across. Ultimately, this thing, of course, is getting removed, so I don't need to worry about where it is. Now, with those there, I could put a cargo right here, straight off the assembler. And they're not terribly expensive. Yeah, I will. I'm going to put a small cargo container there, and then I'll just put my like a conveyor tube there. So instead of accessing the assembler directly, I can access this small cargo container. The reason I want this right now is that I want somewhere to dump my ores into so I can do a couple of trips at once. Because right now, I can't. The truck is actually doing all the storage at the moment, so I need to wait until that iron gets refined, or I can't go out and get any more. Ooh, I've got ice left. Let's take advantage of that. Hang on. Don't want to carry too many bottles while I grab as much ice as I can and throw it into the absconder. Because I have a plan. If I pop some ice in there, and some ice in... Oh, I can't do that. And then turn you on auto. Turn my engine on. And then turn you on to recharge. Turn off all the stuff I don't need to run. This should just run me out of fuel the whole time charging the battery. So as soon as the fuel has run out, the battery will already be on recharge, so I won't use any power after that, which should maximize my power gains on the absconder from the ice I put in. That's all it can fit. I can probably take those out though, because I can store them on the base now. I don't need to take medkits with me. Won't do a lot, but it'll do enough to make it worthwhile. Oh, the headlights are on. That doesn't help. Cool. So a little bit of bonus power for that. A little bit of cargo reorganization. Grab a couple of bottles because I'll forget if I don't do it now. And let's see at the rest of these resources. I'm going to move the cobalt to the end, move the iron up there. Because something I've noticed is that whatever's at the front of the list seems to get picked up first by the refineries if you've only got the one cargo. So if you've only got one cargo storing all of your ores and you have them in order, this will be the one the refinery picks up first. So you can, well, you can get some control over how it gets refined. And even with this cargo, I still don't have enough room to offload from Goofy 2. I am going to need to work out how to get some much better storage capacity on the base, but for now, I don't really have much room for other things. Right, well, that's annoying. Fine. Since I'm having to wait, I'm going to build another 3 power efficiency modules for the assembler. The reason I want to do these now is that I have gotten to that point where I'm going to have to do a lot of production at once, because I'm going to have to build so many steel plate for all of the stuff around here that it's probably a good time for me to make this more efficient, because it's going to be running a lot of the time and I don't want to run out of power. One thing I can kind of do to allow me to have a bit more room is, since I'm not using this trailer, I transfer everything to it. Alright, we are empty. Means I can go and collect another load while the assembler is doing its thing. So the assembler has now gone from... Ooh, now down to 251 kilowatts. Nice. I'll come back and finish the other one afterwards. I will start production of 3,000 steel plates as well. Let's head off, grab another iron boulder before it gets dark. Invert my steering again. I might be a little stuck. This could be a problem. Yeah. And so could this bit of material up here. Maybe? Did I get all of it? Yes. No, I didn't. Oh. Nuts. Come on. Oh, phew. I hate it when those little bits are left and you might be able to get taken out by it. I'm slightly wedged in this hole. I thought maybe if I dug a bit further in I could nose up, but apparently at best I drive horizontal when I start drilling. So, not ideal. Oh, come on. Get out of the hole. Yes. Yes. Success. How much iron is there left here? I think there's much. Okay, maybe there's more than I thought. Yeah, it's still going to be worth coming back here, I think. I was trying to decide whether I could delete the marker here or not, but it does look like it might be worth another pass. But I don't think I've got enough room in the drills to do that. Drill. Yeah. I think I'll end up destroying some of it. And when I don't know how easily I'm going to find more, I think that means it's time to go home. Right, I need to be able to get up to the top of this thing. So if I start with the stairs there, and then since I'm going to need some way of... Oh, that didn't work. Rats, there's no attachment at all there. Oh. Pooh. Fine then, I'll do it the traditional way, which is a light. Oops, okay. Like this. Even though that doesn't work for the singles, what that should allow me to do is place that one there and then get up the top and place the other ones that I need up there. And then I can get rid of the light once this is attached with another piece. And this goes up here. I'll probably continue it along and then join it onto the rest of the elevated stairs. Now that it's attached properly up there though, I can get rid of that. Or not. Right. That was still the only way that was attached. Okay. I'll put the light there then. Because it's a lot neater. Can I have access to that from here? Ow. No. No, I can't. Wow. I've already produced a lot of those steel plates. Final power efficiency module. There we have it. I think it was like 221 before or something like that. I wonder what it is now. Control panel assembler. 168. Oh yeah. It's only a fraction more than the emergency rations thingy-majiggy. Speaking of rations. Do I have any ice anywhere? Quite a lot. Ooh, maybe I'll do another load on this as well. Just go create a bit more water first. Just be nice to make sure I've got a good, long, safe water supply. Since I discovered something a couple of weeks ago, you might have noticed I've had to deal with a bit more... Well, you probably haven't because I probably edited it out. But I've had to deal with a little bit more of the daily need stuff. And the reason for that is that I had not been... Well, it's the way I deal with saves, basically. After every single episode, I create a new save. Because if anything goes wrong, like a power outage and I lose my recording, something like that, I always want to have a backup at every single step along the way. If I ever want to go back and have a look at them, it means I've got them all archived as well. But as a result of that, every time I started a new episode, I started with my food and water back at maximum. Because the storage bit for mods, so the way that mods store their information, does not get copied across when you move things like that. So what I'd basically been doing was, well, I'd effectively been cheating. So I've fixed that, and now I know that that's an issue. I've basically made it so that it's not going to be a thing. I will always be copying that extra data across manually to make sure that I don't end up cheating myself out of the challenge. So I'm probably going to end up needing a lot more food than I had. It's a pity though, because not realizing that, I'd gotten past the worst bit of the food production stuff right at the beginning. I kind of just thought it was related to the mod not being able to store stuff in general. I didn't realize it was something that I had done myself. which is a pity. But as I said, at least I know now, so I can avoid the problem in the future. How much iron do I have? Very little. I have used pretty much all of it up to create those 3,000 plates. Roger. But I also realized that I don't think I left anywhere near enough room in here to put any cargo in, so I think I'm just going to have to live with smalls for now until I make a cargo storage facility, which is going to be an interesting one to build because I always like to have big blocks like the cargo containers and hydrogen tanks exposed, which is unfortunate because they're also very vulnerable and valuable blocks. What I will do now though is I'm going to start designing this wall because it is time. Oh no, I'm going to put more ice into the absconder. That's what I'm going to do quickly. See how much power I got out of that last little effort. It was something like 90 in the battery before, 90 kilowatt hours. 123. So 30 kilowatt hours, and in this instance it's an extra 30%. That's alright. Considering how little power this thing actually uses, it is not too bad to be able to at least charge up a little bit this way. It's annoying that I have to do it by hand, but I don't really have a better idea right now. I'm sure I will figure out a way to get stuff across to it properly in the future so that I don't have to do this, but for now, it is what it is. For the wall, what I want to do is continue this kind of brutal, almost fortress-like design that I've got going on. And with that in mind, I've also got to think about how I'm going to incorporate a door, which will also be an airlock, into this wall. And that's going to be a bit interesting because I could, given how much space I've got here, have the airlock on the inside. But I actually think I'd rather have it on the outside. Or at least have it bulging out from the side of the building. So to do that, the first thing I need to check is whether this, well, how many blocks along this is. So we've got from the turbine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. Okay, so this is even, which makes it even more awkward to try and center this. So I'd probably be better off making this quite asymmetrical and putting the, say, putting the door here. What I was thinking of doing was having some long, tall windows either side, kind of going down. I think kind of the general architectural feeling I was going to go for with this build was something that it's not exactly that way, but this is kind of what it feels like to me. Something like the Soviet era communist building, really brutal sort of architecture. Ooh, which reminds me, weld pad. Oh right, I haven't used them yet. Reminds me that I have, I don't know where they're kept in this list. These. Oh, they're under the grated window. Right. And there. I've got these windows. They'll work perfectly for that because they're so harsh. So if I start with, say... Yeah, I think if I start with one underneath the turbine. That way. And go another one. And not bringing them to the floor. So there'll be nothing at ground level. All the windows will be up above that, which I think will make them look even more stark. Then it'll be straight wall down here. And I probably should have inset those. Dang it. I'm going to need to fix that. I might do that now just so that I can get a clearer idea of how this is going to look. Let's control you. Third person. Ah. No. Step 1 is put lights on the lifter because I can't see. And step 2 will be move Reggie's cam so that Reggie can see what's going on. Production. That should be enough to provide adequate lighting around this thing while I'm operating at night. If I put them to their maximum, I'll just have to remember... Oop, delete. Lifter. Interior lights. Oh, that's right. This reminds me of another thing. It seemed like a very popular name for me to call this lifter the Liftsie. But I kind of feel that's a little too egotistical for my taste. I'm not sure how I feel about naming something so close to being basically named after me. I'll have to think about that one. Lift myself up a little bit so I don't scrape. Whoops. Hit the wrong button. There we go. Okie dokie. And something else I'm going to do that I didn't do last time is enable share inertia tensor on these. Because I didn't do it. So the reason I didn't do it last time is it messes with the weight calculations and effectively makes the whole thing heavier. And that was obviously not a good thing because I was already struggling for the maximum weight of the bucket as it was. So I didn't want to make that worse. Okay. That should do. Drop down, lock. Okay, now I can get back to first person. Jump. And jump. And reverse. And reverse and down. There we go, that's all I needed that for. I really do love the excess of this thing. It's so over the top that I needed to do that for such a simple little task, but I love it. Yeah, I think this is the way I want this to be. Also, I think I painted those. Oh no, I didn't paint those red. Inset. Inset? Yeah, inset. Like that. Then we go with another row of blocks down. And I think that is an interior wall. Yep. As is that. So we get rid of those. Remember to use snapping to local grid so that that's easier. And then I think what I'll do is pop a 2x1 slope at the bottom here, just to transition that down a bit. Then I'm going to put my doorway here. So it's clearly asymmetrical rather than just slightly asymmetrical because of the even number of blocks that I put through here, which I hope, I'm actually pretty confident will look much better. I don't need to ride this time. Let's just move it out of the way. Unlock. Just get you back a bit further. With that inset, I think it might be better if I don't put the door directly on this block, but put it on this one. So what I'm leaning toward is maybe... hang on. Needs material plate. Maybe what I could do is this actually. Where's my door block? Don't have doors. So sliding door, if I put it there, then I hop up and then the other door is here. And we kind of have a little L shape for the airlock. That would then allow me to have either a window on this wall or a window on this wall, but it'd probably be on this one. We then go with... That's what I want. Basically what I want to do at the moment, and the reason I jumped over to this from the door, is I want to make sure that the first window on the other side is in the same position relative to the wind turbine as that row is, because then I'll have a better idea of where the other blocks are going to go. So if I then put a solid row of blocks from roof down, I could put in maybe one more row of windows, double up the steel plate on either side of it, or I could do two more. Maybe two more would be better. Just trying to think about how it's going to look with the bulgy bit around the airlock as well. I'm almost tempted to use the original vanilla stairs here, because they're mostly set in the ground. I think I will. I think it'll it'll look better than if I use the catwalk, because the railings will then get themselves all hidden in the ground. Because you wouldn't really expect railings on just that few stairs. But I like the idea of having a little bit of a catwalk before the door and then going through. So if I use this little space here and I pop an armory in where that is, at least on the inside of the airlock, there'll be a bit more than just a corridor. I need to have a full block in here so I can have lights between the doors. One thing I don't really have to worry about here, because I can just grab oxygen from the atmosphere, is I don't have to make a perfect airlock. The airlock can dump oxygen each time, and really all I'm losing is the power it took me to grab the oxygen out of the atmosphere and concentrate it down. So it's not really oh dear. It's not really that big a deal. What I'm thinking of doing is building this front segment all the way up to the top, or at least close to. Stop there. Pistons. Stop there, I should be able to place now. I go there, and then a little bit further. And then another one on... I did left down the bottom, yeah. And another one on top. It'll mean the inside of the airlock could actually be big enough that I might be able to fit a vent and an oxygen tank, as it turns out. Those can go up there. I'm gonna lower myself down. And I'm gonna go up on the roof and place the rest of these blocks. That. And then... yeah, I think that way might work best. Because I can also do a 2x1 in the middle, like so. And that should cover up nicely the airlock and give me a bit of structure around it, while also kind of fitting in with the rest of it. If it turns out that this little leaning off bit here doesn't work, what I'll do instead is I'll build something like I've done around on the corners, and something that sticks out up the top here. Potentially adding like something that comes out from over here, back a further block from that goes around and then goes down. But I sort of felt like that would be too big. And this one will be a armory, which will look different and will bug me, so I will almost certainly have to put catwalks or something down these sides so that it doesn't look all different. And with a doorway, this place feels more like I'm actually going indoors. Funny how that works. I realise as I say it out loud. Oh, Splitsie sometimes. Really? I may end up replacing the block at the top of each of the windows with a 2x1 slope, but we'll see. In the end, it might actually look better that it's a nice solid band across there for the really robust look that I'm kind of going for. But now it's time to weld up this wall and maybe another one. I might have enough resources for two. Let's see if I can move this cobalt out of the way, because I think there's more iron in here. There should be a fair bit of this wall I can reach from ground level. So really, there's not a huge amount of the wall that I can't reach without the lifter, so it's one of the reasons why I liked the idea of having it, is even if I can reach most things and I only need one, I've still got a way to get to that one block without having to build some horrendous scaffolding. But, I mean, you all know, the main reason I built it is because I thought it'd be fun. I just realised a small benefit of me putting this catwalk in here. There's a small chance, or not so small a chance, that I'll get rid of it and place it on the block underneath, so that I can put a button panel here that can control the airlock if I put a proper airlock in. And assuming I don't make that airlock sensor controlled. Might leave this bit of the wall out and put it in as I go, because I want to make sure that I can get to those conveyor blocks up there. The one at the other end isn't as big an issue. Oh, cool! I can actually get as high as the end, this end. That's awesome. Stop there. Reverse. Stop there. Swing back the other way. Stop there, and I can get this piece. There we go. Now, I want you to go down, and I want you to retract me in. Because Because I have 5 energy remaining and I want to get off this ride. Get some power. There we go. That will get me back to the seat. A lot of people were saying to put a seat onto the lifter there, but I'll show you in a second why it's not as simple as you might think. It's because of the way I place those windows. Given the way I've attached them, there's nowhere to actually put a seat straight onto it. I'd have to make it floating, and I'm not gonna like doing that. So these blocks, oops, these window blocks are actually occupying that lower space, so I wouldn't be able to just put a seat on there. I'd have to whack it somewhere that I really don't want to do. So it's not gonna happen. For aesthetics, function is going to be impaired. Which is kind of what anyone who's watched this channel for a while would expect. Let's spin round. I'll try and get those couple of blocks done. I really should have refilled my inventory. That was silly. I just thought of another Reggie camera point of view that I can do. I wonder if there's somewhere on this lifter I can put a camera that would look epic in time-lapse. It's got to be somewhere fairly stable. That's the only challenge. That's the main challenge. Because if it's unstable, it just makes for a really shaky time-lapse. Maybe somewhere on the base that looks up to where this is going, so you can see it kind of moving around and you see the change of position. I'm gonna have to try that on the next bit of the build. There we go, we have a door. Even though it doesn't really matter when I don't have the other 3 walls, but that doesn't matter for now, because at least from this angle, this thing looks like a genuine building. Looks like something... I definitely think I got the Soviet feel right. I'm kind of happy with it. I've never used those windows before, so I think they kind of work in this setting and done that way. I do wish there was an end that didn't have the little notch, because it means you always have to think about how that's going to relate to the rest of it. I suppose if you notched out, rather than notching on the same side, top and bottom, did them alternate corners, it wouldn't matter as much. Now that I think about it, I possibly should have done that for this one. But, oh, stuck in the absconder. I think I'm pretty happy with that. Next time I will likely have to do some more resource collection, but hopefully it's not too much longer before I can get the other 3 walls done and get this place pressurized. So there's all that, and plenty more to come, and I will see you then.